So here's to the dreamers, the seekers, the wise. Crystal lavender will reach in the skies. Through tarot and starlight will always roam. In the heart of the universe we found our home. Comes where the mystics play. We speak the language of the Milky Way. A touch of Venus, a kiss from the moon, guiding lost hearts with a sweet gentle tune.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome here. Welcome back. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, whatever part of the world you're on, whatever time you are watching this video. This episode of As the Tarot Turns is brought to you on purpose, with purpose, and I am your host, Crystal Lavender. So people know me as Nacho Mama, that was my old YouTube handle, or Criddle, like Riddle with a C. But I'm going to go with my God-given name, which is Crystal Lavender. So thank you guys for being here. We are going to read for the sign of Leo. Leo, I know we're a little bit late for the March readings, but Leo for the month of March. I don't know about y'all, but that Venus retrograde has completely flipped my whole life upside down, inside out. Like, Venus in retrograde, Mercury in retrograde, but like I'm ruled by Venus, and it makes sense why throughout the years I've struggled around like certain issues or whatnot, like around certain times of year, and this Venus in retrograde, man, like completely flipped all parts of my life, not just like one sector of my life. Like it pretty much flipped all my stuff all over the place, upside down and inside out. So I had to make sure I got myself right so that I could be there for you guys, come correctly to you guys. Okay, nobody can pour from an empty cup, and that includes myself. So I had to make sure that I got my energy right. So thank you guys so much for being here with me and for being patient. Yeah. All right, Leo. Leo. What does Leo got going on in the finance sector for March? What does Leo got going on in the finance sector? March finances for Leo. Ooh, the King of Cups. Like the King of Cups, the Seven of Cups in reverse, and the Two of Cups. So whatever it is that you're doing right now, like as far as finances or whatever it is that you've got going on, like whatever sort of art projects you've got going on, like you don't have, like you don't want to go anywhere else. You don't see any other options. Like you don't want to be anywhere else. You're good with where you're at. It's like it feels, at least for the month of March, like you are good with where you're at, with what you got going on. Like you have a lot of love for what it is that you're doing or for the people that you work with. Looks like you get a lot of recognition, public recognition, just like praise in general. Yeah, it looks like you're pretty happy with what it is that you're doing. You're pretty happy with what it is that you're doing. You could volunteer your time as well. Like it's almost like you're not working. Like this, it's a job that you love so much that you could do it with your eyes closed. That it's like, it just feels like that's your place. Like it's your purpose. It's your place. It's where you're supposed to be. It's what you're supposed to be doing. It might not make you the most money, but it's like you would rather be somewhere where you're happy than make a bunch of money and be miserable. Right? So it feels like you're pretty content with where you're at for the month of March as far as your finances go. Like you don't feel the need to go anywhere. You know that it might not be a, like you don't feel the need to go anywhere. You do have the Ten of Cups here too. So this is like very long-term. This is very long-term, very lasting. Like not only are you loyal to it, but it's loyal to you. There's a lot, like it just feels very rewarding. Whatever it is that you do for your job, for your financial like resources, it absolutely feels like it's enjoyable, that it's rewarding. It's, even if it doesn't make a whole, it's like you're not trying, it's not like a get rich. It's like you're not living in a mansion and doing all this stuff, but it's like you have enough to be comfortable and you really enjoy your work environment, which there's not very many people out there that can say the same thing. So you are absolutely blessed when it comes to whatever it is that you're doing as far as your job goes. That you probably have your own time. You get to make your own time. You get to do what it is that you want when you need to do it. Like it's very, it doesn't feel like it's really like demanding. Like it's not very physically demanding. And it doesn't feel very demanding of your energy. It just feels very chill. It feels like your job is very chill and rewarding. Like something about it is long lasting. it could be in the healthcare industry. Like you might be working with people like elderly, or like taking care of children, or something to do with taking care of people, taking care of their like if you work with adolescent or adults that have ADHD, or adults that are autistic, and you get to take them out on adventures or something. Like maybe you are a choreographer, like an events choreographer, an events manager. You get to plan fun things or go and do fun things with people that are really cool. Either way, whatever it is, it's like this job is very enriching. Like you work in a very enriched environment, a very rewarding environment. Even if it doesn't pay that much, like a lot of like really it's better to be in a position that you enjoy, that that you actually enjoy getting up, you enjoy the people that you work with, you enjoy what it is that you do, than it is to make a bunch of money and go to a job that you absolutely despise. So I feel like you're definitely getting the recognition. You get praised for what it is that you do. You enjoy what it is that you do. And I don't see that changing anytime in the month of March. Like I don't feel like you are going to have to worry about your job, losing your job, or about something like a tower happening and then, like losing your clients, or I feel like you're going to be comfortable where you're at least for the month of March for sure. All right, let's go to your general messages. What sort of general messages do we have for the Leo collective? General messages for Leo. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please remember to hit that little like button on your way in or on your way out. It's a little quick for you, but it's a big bada boom for me. Okay. I've got some exciting news for behind the scenes. Like I am completely revamping my website. I will be adding personal readings. There will be a newsletter. We got all kinds of fun stuff. Like through all the chaos that's been going on, there's definitely some happenings, some things going on behind the scenes that are pretty exciting. So I'm excited about that. General messages. There might be somebody that's in your ear that has to have the last word. All right. Don't give them any sort of attention, because we got the King of Swords in the reverse, and then we got the Four of Swords in the reverse as well. So there might be somebody that is pretty much like the shit rolls downhill. They might be trying to like they might be like coming home, kick the dog type of thing. It's like and that doesn't mean like, even if they're close to you, like they do not have, it's like they feel like they could treat you however they want, or they can be mean to you, or they can, like because you're supposed to love them, and then you'll just be there for whatever, because you're like thick or thin, ride or die. But like ride or die and loyalty doesn't mean that you like unconditional love doesn't mean unconditional tolerance. So if there's somebody that's coming home and like taking it out on you, like they had a bad day at work and they're like taking it out on you, make sure that you put them, like let them know that that's unacceptable, and it doesn't have to turn into a screaming match. Just make it very matter of fact that you are not the person you are not the person, the Tower in reverse. Okay. Like you might be trying to people please this person and hold it all together. You're in fear that if you say something that it's just going to fall apart. But if this person is genuinely being an asshole to you, you have every right to stand up for yourself. Okay. Stand up for yourself, put this person in their place. I mean, you can be diplomatic about it. Like you don't need to be burning bridges. But you also don't need to be a people pleaser either. Because I feel like there's somebody that is out of place, that comes in and treats you badly because they were treated badly. Or be aware that if it's just a random person in public that's just all of a sudden treating you badly, then they've got something like major seriously going bad in their life, and they might just like they're projecting their shit onto you. Okay, don't take it personally. And don't engage in any sort of confrontation with this person. If this is a random stranger, if this is somebody that make sure that you stick up for yourself, all right? And let them know that that's not acceptable, that you love them and you understand that they're going through a hard time, but you are not a punching bag, okay? And it is not okay for you to be treated that way, all right? Like, it's not okay. It doesn't matter who they are. It's not okay for you to be treated like that, right? I don't know who needs to hear that, but that's what came up with the general messages, right? And if they want to act a fool and like act like you're a bad person for telling them not to treat you like crap, then you don't need that person in your life anyways. Okay, so don't worry about walking on eggshells to try to keep that person happy. Like I saw something about that being part of a generational curse too. Is like we have this tendency to not upset, like our grandparents or whatnot because they're old or they're this or they're that, and it's like they just get away with being just really ugly in general, but it's like, oh well, they have the right to do that because they earn the right. Like no. They have not earned the right to be disrespectful to you. Okay, just because they're your elders. They always say respect your elders. There's a difference between respecting your elders, having respect for your elders, and then like having to walk on eggshells so that you don't trigger some sort of like anger or like they might be really condescending or something. Like that's not a you thing. Unless you stick that fork in that wheel and put a stop to it, they're just going to keep going on because not sticking up for yourself and not saying anything, they're taking your silence as consent. Okay, so if you don't stick up for yourself, if you don't actually be like, hey, like that's not acceptable that you're treating me this way, like with all due respect, with love, it's amazing what you could get away with saying if you say no disrespect first, like no disrespect, but you're being freaking blah, 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 blah. It's amazing, like if you put that little phrase in there first, like no disrespect, but, or if you don't stick up for yourself, they're not going to change their behavior because they're viewing your silence as consent. So if you want something to change, you're going to have to put that stick in that wheel. All right, let's see. Leo's in love. Leo in love. What do we got for love for the lovely Leos? Lovely Leos. Which deck do I want to use? I want to use this one. It's hiding over here. The Unfolding Path. Speaking of Leos, my best friend got this for me. One of my best friends got this for me, and he is a Leo. So what do we got for Team Leo in love? All right, single Leos. Single Leos. What's coming in March for my single Leos? What do we got in love for my single Leos? Well, Leo, it's not going to fall on your lap, okay? Unless like the plumber comes and they're like some hot plumber or some like hot mechanic or, like some sort of like crazy divine, like kismet type shit. Which I guess it could be because we do got the Justice card here as well. So you got the Ten of Cups in reverse though. So it's like if you're not going to find what it is that you're looking for if you never leave your house. All right. Unless it's like some crazy, like just absolutely insane. There's no way that, like, oh, it was like your mom comes home with a friend of a friend, for dinner, or, you needed a plumber. You had to call this emergency plumber, and the plumber that came over just happened to be this like person that is absolutely your person. But I feel like you're still not over something that happened in the past. There was something that happened that was like there's the before you and then there's the after you. It's like whatever the situation was that completely like shattered your soul is still very, very, very prominent in your energy. Okay. It's very much still in your auric field, and you might have given up on love altogether. So you might have a jaded attitude towards love, or it's like you're just not looking for it. But you're definitely not going, like, unless it falls out of the clear blue sky, it's like you're still just in hermit mode. You're in hermit mode. And there's really nothing wrong with that either. But if you're wanting to get out there and date, you're going to have to actually like get out there. Okay. Actually get out there. But I feel like there's still a lot of that energy that is lingering. That's you're holding on to, And I understand that there's some things that have happened to me, that there's the before me, like that I will like after that situation, like everything was completely different. And like, there's some things like there's parts of yourself you wish you could get back, but it was meant to be the way that it was meant to be for a reason, for a season. And I understand there's like, there's some things that you're like, I just can't justify there ever being any sort of positive outcome for the situation, Like I hear people talk about that, and it's like like with deaths in general, like how like people have a really hard time, like, with other things like, oh, I quit, like I got fired from my job, or I had to move from this place, or, like we have a tendency to be able to look back and create some sort of positive outcome from that chaos, like out of that chaotic situation. But it's really hard to do, like if a person loses a child, or if their love passes away. It's really hard to see that positive light, like to tie that to something positive that happens in your life. So I feel like this is some sort of like whatever happened was something that was extreme. It's not like, oh, well, they broke up with me and now I'm just jaded. It's like, no, whatever it was, like the before and after, it's like the after, whatever happened for this situation has definitely kept you in a very mental cage. It's like you almost feel guilty for even feeling happy at all, and that's absolutely blocking any sort of new love from coming in, is especially if you feel like you aren't allowed, or that it's that you shouldn't be happy, like for some reason there's like some sort of survivor's guilt, or there's just guilt around being happy. It's like you feel bad when you're happy. Okay, you don't have to feel bad for being happy. Okay, whoever it was, like especially if this was a past loved one, they want you to be happy. They want you to move on with your life, to be enriched and fulfilled and loved and beautiful and shining. Like I feel like there's very much like a dark, like you have a dark cloud from this situation, that happened in the past. It's very much in your energy, and it is very much your own personal mental cage. All right, but if you're going to find somebody, if you're interested in dating, you're going to have to get out, even if it's for a little bit, like even for a walk. Go for a walk, or go do things that you enjoy doing. Like I really like going to hot springs. I really like looking for rocks, like, which is kind of hard to find, when you're out in the middle of the wilderness looking for rocks. Like it's hard to stumble across somebody. But if you do stumble across somebody, guaranteed they're doing the thing that you're doing because they enjoy doing it. So going out and doing the things that you actually enjoy will increase your chances of meeting a like-minded individual, right? Like if you really, really enjoy coffee, you're not like you'll more than likely meet somebody who also really enjoys coffee if you're going out to get coffee, right? So doing the things that you actually enjoy, like going shopping somewhere, like if you really enjoy thrift stores, or you really like going to antique shops, or you really like going to cooking classes or the art shows, you're more than likely to find like-minded individuals by participating in the things that you truly enjoy. Okay, but I would absolutely, like this is a block. Like you're feeling like you're guilty for being happy is absolutely preventing you from bringing any other prospects into your life. Okay, so I can't tell you to release it, I can't tell you how to release it, but you deserve to be happy. All right, no matter what it was that happened in the past, like you absolutely deserve love. You don't need to feel guilty for being happy. You deserve happiness. Okay, all right, let's go on to the Leos that are in a relationship. Leo's in a relationship. What's going on for the month of March for Leo's in a relationship? What do we got? Leos that are currently involved in a relationship. So it feels like somebody is releasing some sort of control some sort of like my way or the highway. Like there might have been like fights or a fight that broke out that was very much centered around like being right, and really it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about understanding what the problem is to begin with. So like I feel like they're one of either you or this other person was very much like had to have the last word, or needed to be right, needed to prove themselves as right. And I feel like that is being lifted, or that needs to be addressed, that it's not about being right. Like being wrong and admitting that you're wrong is actually a superpower. Okay, because it takes a lot of generations were brought up to believe that being wrong is like makes you weak, or like, oh well, if you know everything, then like you're the person to go to, you're the rock. And sometimes admitting that you're wrong, or just being wrong in general, it's like, man, sometimes I'm so glad to be wrong. Like I'm like, thank God I am wrong. Okay. But there are other people that absolutely refuse to admit it. They refuse to admit it. They're very sore losers. It's like they're always in competition to be right. It doesn't even matter like what the situation is, or what's going on there. It's like they just have this need to always be right. And you might have gotten used to just smile and nod. Okay. It's like I feel like a part of you has just accepted it for what it is, but you don't want to fight it anymore. But it does make you feel a little lonely, a little um like a little unseen or unheard. Like you don't want to be in combat mode all the time with somebody else. It's like they're very competitive or really combative, but it's like they're just a really sore loser. you know they've got some sort of identity wrapped around being right or having the last word, or um there's an identity issue there. But there's not a lack of love, and there's two queens on the table and a king, but you got the king is in reverse. So for the most part, it looks like you guys have got your head in the right place. Like you've got a good head on your shoulders. This king energy is a little bit stubborn. All right. There's a little bit of a stubborn competition going on there. And there is a lack of just a sore loser. Like this person's they're really super competitive. They're really competitive, have to have the last word. Um, I don't know. They make you feel like you're not really being heard all the way, or not being seen all, like they're not understanding. It's because they're not trying to understand. It's like they're not listening to you to understand. They're like listening to respond, you know? They're not really hearing what it is that you're saying. They're trying to figure out their rebuttal to it before it's even been completely like expressed. So this person is definitely got a lot of blockages. Either you have a lot of blockages, or this person has a lot of blockages. Because yeah, there's a little bit of rough waters there. There's an obstacle that absolutely needs to be overcome, but there is clear water on the other side of this obstacle. I think the obstacle is obstinance. Like obstinance is the obstacle, right? But you guys do have a very strong bond, or a very, very strong bond, a very loving, deep, committed, loyal connection. There's just this obstinance, like this ornery, like obstinate uh energy that needs to be overcome. And I'm not saying that they're right and you're wrong, or you're right and they're wrong. It takes two to tango, but this can be worked through. Whatever this situation is, can be worked through. So not all hope is lost here. All right. There's just some minor inconveniences, like you guys might feel like you want to headbutt each other sometimes. And that has to do with that winning is like they're a really sore loser, but they've got a really, really strong bond with you. Like they don't see you going with anybody else. They don't want to be with anybody else. They're not trying to break up with you. It's just like they're competitive, combative, obstinate, you know. And sometimes it's cute. Sometimes that energy is cute and can be like, it can be related to passion, and other times it's obnoxious. And I feel like this is one of those times where it's just kind of obnoxious. So yeah. All right. What about Leos that are just with somebody, a brand new relationship? Leo in a brand new relationship. What do we got for Leos in a brand new relationship? I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for being here, for sticking around, being here. Leo's in a brand new relationship. Did y'all meet at the bar or something? Ooh. Like, be careful of getting into connections where it's like you only have a good time if you're drinking, but then as soon as you guys sober up, you don't know what to say to each other. Make sure that you spend some time around each other, like in actual real world, and not just out partying or not just under the influence. I feel like there is a little bit of an excess here. I don't know if somebody is trying to keep up with another, like we have a tendency to do, like, especially if we're interested in somebody, we do a lot of really dumb shit in the name of love, right? Or in the name of thinking that the person is the one, or, just wanting to catch the attention of someone else. We have a tendency to kind of like turn into chameleons in a way, and if this person is like drinking a whole lot, then you start drinking a whole lot. If this person is smoking cigarettes and you really want to be, especially if you're kind of like codependent and you really want to be with this person, then you end up smoking cigarettes too. So try your hardest to maintain your own personal, your own person, to maintain as who you are, what your values are. Like, if you're not a drinker, don't pretend like you're a drinker. Okay. If you're not a smoker, don't be smoking fucking cigarettes just to get on the good side of this person, because it's not going to go down well. But there absolutely is a little bit of overindulgence here with the temperance in reverse. That's alcoholism, addiction, imbalance, excess, and extremes. So be careful if you guys have you only have a good time with each other if you're out drinking or you're out partying. Okay. And I know, like, guilty, been there, done that. All right. More times than I care to admit, that's for sure. You guys do have a good sense of teamwork and collaboration. Like, there is a sense that you guys like work really well together. But there is an emotional blockage here. Like, one of you is scared of putting it all out on the table. With the Ace of Cups in reverse, it's like one of you is scared to be all in. And I mean, with there being excess there, yeah, you have a lot of anxiety, a lot of like angst and anxiety about this situation, about like giving it your all. And I don't know if that's because you've been hurt before in the past, or like you're scared that you might not find nobody else, or might not find nobody else like this person. Like, you might be really super attracted to this person. And you're tired of waiting. It's like you were tired of waiting for the right person to come around, or for them to act right, or for whatever. Like, you're tired of waiting on this situation, and it's giving you a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of worry and anxiety there. And you don't know where it's going. Lack of direction, Page of Wands in reverse. Like, you don't know where it's going. You don't know what it is that they really want from you. It's like, when like they seem super ambitious, you could be definitely dealing with the Gemini. We got Gemini, we've got Aries, we've got Aquarius, Sagittarius. This person could be a little bit like, either you have a tendency to be reckless and you're trying to not follow that same pattern, or this other person has a tendency to be reckless, very impulsive, very impulsive. They could be kind of love bomby, or you could just feel super attached to them way too fast and you don't like it, so you're like trying to pull yourself back. One you or this other person isn't. You got the Ace of Cups in reverse, you got the Page of Cups in reverse. It's like you're not investing your heart into this situation, not yet. Like, you still feel too much anxiety, you feel like it's moving too fast, or they feel like it's moving too fast. And you have, like, from your past experiences, like, you're like learning from your past, right? Meditation, contemplation, making sure that you're not fucking this up. All right. You don't want to fuck yourself up by getting into the wrong relationship, because a relationship will make you or break you, right? It will either like uplift you, or it'll spiral you out of control. And it just depends. Like, is this a lesson or is this a blessing? I mean, ultimately lessons are always blessings, but it feels like this, like, if y'all can manage to not get wasted when y'all are hanging out. You know what I mean? Like actually spend some time with each other, like in the real world, instead of all in la la fairy tale land. You'll get a closer perspective of what this person is all about. All right. Because right now it feels like y'all are just partying and having a good time, you know, but that like once the swelling wears off, it's like, okay, it's been swell, but now that the swelling's gone down, and now what? All right. Well, I feel like those were the messages that my Leo collective needed to hear for the month of March. Thank you guys so much for being here. Soon enough, I will have a whole brand new website, and I'll have a newsletter and all kinds of fun stuff coming. Okay. I have been quite quiet, but I've been behind the scenes, like collecting myself and doing some wizarding behind the scenes. So stay tuned for all of that excitingness. All right. And thank you guys so much for being here. And until next time, I love you. Be good to yourself and to others, always and always. Vroom, beep, beep. Vroom.